3, 2, live.
You're now watching two old farts making noises.
Very cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Adam, welcome back.
Welcome, Adam.
Hello, guys. How are you?
How you doing? How are you?
I'm great. I like that too,
I did. I like the
that's
music. I
good.
was like, this is hip.
The
You know?
music and the messages and everything. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, it inspired all your good self, Adam, because a little bit of plagiarism, from your
Well,
own website.
a little is like giving a new, breaking the wall of creation. So
There
we're
you go.
continuing
Yeah.
the stuff.
Yeah,
There
I
you
was sort
go.
of an artistic license really too, because I knew you had your own show with us now, so I took the odd text from your website. So there you go. I
Okay,
fess up.
it's fine.
And all of Adam's information will be below. So you can go to his website and you can go see his beautiful art and creations and just enjoy. But the show that we're going to do with Adam on a monthly basis is basically about thought and thinking and the world and the universe and whatnot. So I think it'll be interesting for people to get to meet Adam that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything is connected after all, right?
Yes. It's like that
Yeah.
movie that they just did, Everything, Everywhere, Everything, or whatever. That one that's probably going to win the Academy Award with, I can't remember her name.
I haven't finished this movie. I got
Really?
sleep. I said that I will finish it because it was very strange and peculiar film.
Yes, but I will say I watched it in the movie theater and I liked it. And then when it came to Amazon or show wherever it is on my laptop, I watched it again and I got more out of it the second time.
Really? So you
Yeah,
say that I should finish it?
I would finish it. It's just,
I will. Okay.
especially if you look at your art and how you think, and if you just block out that 90 minutes, you're going to be like, okay, out of everyone I know, you're going to be the one who goes, I get it.
So is it philosophical one?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very
Uh,
very cool. It's one of those movies that you just sit back and go, interesting. It's like, it's like,
Okay.
and you feel good about it when it's done. It's not like a terrible movie or whatever. It's just like, okay. So it's really good. It's a very
Okay,
interesting
you
movie.
got me into it. So
There you
okay,
go.
I will finish it.
Michelle Yan or Yo. Sorry, Michelle, I pronounced your name wrong. But anyway, yes, she was phenomenal in it. So Miss
Yeah.
Malaysia from
We're
1980s.
going to be moving, I think, on to some slides with your work, Adam. But before we do that, we had a lady on last week from Canada, and she was talking about people being incredibly moved, physically moved by art. She was saying things like, "Oh, like people were, had to sit down if they saw a piece of art in front of them, or in a gallery setting there." And palpitations and everything else. I mean, does that resonate with you? Because I know that you literally put your heart and soul into everything that you do.
Well, yeah. Art is, I'm an artist, but I don't think it's a job actually. Okay, we earn money from it, but for me, it's it's a way of living actually, and in a way, and this is why I feel so lucky about it. It's like because everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing art. There's everywhere aesthetics. There's everywhere expression. Even now that we are talking, each of us is expressing somehow, and even the audience is expressing, thinking, and expressing. Even with our small, movements of our faces, we're expressing. We're doing it all the time. It's like I said the other time that we were talking that it's a universal pattern.
Mhm.
So it's everywhere. It's
And
everywhere.
that,
But okay, what we call art, the human art, is something specific. That there is an artist and he creates something which other people come and it's like a beginning of a conversation maybe, but it's an artwork which okay, later people have found a market for it also. It's sold and bought, but this is after the real art actually is becoming a product.
But that goes back to everything is connected, right? Because you do A, and then the B part of it is a collector or someone sees it, whether they buy it or not, and it gives them an emotion. And then the C part is somebody comes along and says, "Oh, I like it. I want to hang it in my house, my gallery, whatever." And then the D through Z is all the people that get to see it wherever it is, and then they have emotion toward it. So then it just makes everybody in, like the unified field. Everything is sort of connected at that point. We're all one.
Yes, exactly. But
Right.
if you have an artwork in your house, you're expressing yourself with it too,
Correct.
because you have decided to have it there. It speaks to you in a way, and you want it there, so others also, not only you, others also see this part of you that I have chosen this artwork, and maybe it's like I said before that it can be a start of a conversation, a
Right.
pretext maybe, or even a deeper. It may have a deeper thematology for deeper conversations. So art is really important, and it's everywhere.
But that's the cool
Yeah.
part, and I think that's what people don't understand is that whether you love it or hate it or you have no opinion of it, it's something. And we talked with you the last time, and when we talk with the artists that come from Canada, it's the same thing. It's like if I see something and it makes me smile, I want that because it makes me smile, and it makes me smile every time I see it, which is wonderful. If I see something and I'm like, yeah, it's okay, then I don't really want it because I don't want to look at something and go, it's okay. I want to look at something that makes me smile or has a raw emotion. So the art that like we do, our collect, is always something that there's an emotion that's tied to it.
Exactly. It's because it's not indifferent to you
Right.
when it makes you smile, or sometimes when it makes you cry also.
Yes.
Generally, if it generates some kind of emotions into you, that means that it speaks to you and you are connected with it, and you've got something with it.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
think
I
people
think
don't
that's the
understand that.
Yeah, I think that's the point she was making, Stephen, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because she was saying how that she herself had been in galleries and felt a bit woozy, and thought, oh wow, and all that. Yeah, it's sort of not. It is emotion sickness, but it's sort of in emotion, from emotions that cause the sickness. And she
Right.
said, "Oh, I just had to sit down because my legs went." And she's just looking at a piece of art. Now, it sort of resonated with me all week, and I thought, well, is she more um, susceptible to that because she considers herself to be an artist, or is it a common phenomenon that that people go to art exhibitions and feel all faint and a little bit giddy about what they're watching? Interesting.
It's very interesting, but look, you can. We were talking about the movie before, which is a piece of art, of course,
Yes.
and the movies, and we were talking about last time also, is that the movies, they produce emotions,
Right.
and because they have a story, and our mind, they love stories, and we know that it is a lie. We know it deep inside that those are actors, this is a fake story probably, but we get into it, we become it in a way, or we imagine ourselves playing the role of some of the actors, or the protagonists, or something like this. So we need those stories in our lives, we need this meaning in our life, because the stories, they give meanings, the concepts, they give means to everything we see, even, for example, to abstract art. We are trying to find patterns and stuff and things that we will create a story from it. And that's why sometimes we say, oh, I see here a sea and a forest maybe, or a bird, but there might be no forest, and when the artist created it. But we need the story, and we jump into the story. And some people who are more sensitive maybe, or they are in a need of the story more than others, they become the story. They need to get away, maybe from the reality of their lives. I don't know. There are many reasons for doing this.
I think it's
So what about
escapism.
you?
I think it's
Yeah.
escapism. I think people like
Well,
art and movies and books. It's like when I read a
yeah.
book, mostly history books, but or it's just I escape into that 1 or 2 or 3 hours of reading into what's going on in the pages. It's the same in art. If I see something that's moving, I get to escape in that painting. And going
But
to a
the
movie
elephant,
theater, same thing.
the elephant in the room, of course, Adam, is: are you painting the truth or are you painting the lie?
Well, a German philosopher, Heidegger, he was saying that art is becoming an happening of truth. So he was saying that art in general is truth. Whatever art you're doing is truth. Well, the lie that I'm saying is not a lie, that you are saying to somebody, to cheat somebody, or it's what Stephen is saying, that it's escape in a way. It's a story that I need to create, a fake or not. Somebody who has get into that movie or into that painting that much is living the painting. Is for him for the moment, for that moment, it's a reality. Is living this reality, and we need those reality, because in fact we don't really know what reality is. We think that what we're looking around and everything here, door, the plan, me, or somebody else, this is the reality. Yeah, it is, but it's part of the reality. And another part is also mental reality, our thinking, our imagination, our dreams, our whatever we can come up with in our mind, in a psychic and in a mental way.
But now scientists will tell you in quantum, I love this part. So in quantum theory, they're saying, what is the reality? Because of the way the particles split and move. So now they're saying, like, if there's a refrigerator in the kitchen, but is it there right now? Because you're not there, right? Because when you turn the light on at night, it appears, but that's just all the particles and atoms getting together. So I thought that was interesting when I was reading about quantum physics and theory and math. And then another guy in quantum, which I figure if they don't know, they just throw everything into quantum, said he calls it the Thursday hypothesis. And the Thursday hypothesis is that every day is Thursday, but you just don't know it because this is what your Thursday is today. Like you woke up, this is your day. So it's the same with scientists now go, are we living in a simulation? Are we living in this? So it really is,
Yeah.
we don't know, right? So when you say to him, are you painting the truth or are you painting the lie? He's painting whatever his XYZ is. And it doesn't have to be a truth or a lie. It's just, that's what it is. And then if you look at it more philosophical, then the question is, then what really is it? It's the atoms that come together, but then where are those atoms taking us? You know what I mean? So it's
but
very
you know,
interesting.
There was a
I like.
program on. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, no,
There was a program, a comedy program on British TV, and it ran for. It was
The
about the
BBC?
Second World War on the BBC, yeah,
Yeah.
and it ran for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years or whatever, and it was based around the same week of the Second World War. So all the different episodes were all based around the same week, and that was, they gave the scriptwriters an enormous amount of flexibility.
Right.
And I was listening this morning to there's a theatre in the Young Vic coming on in London, I think the next 2 weeks, where it's going to be a 24-hour play with one actress and 100 co-stars. And they know nothing. They just have read the script. She never met them. And they will be doing the same scene with her 100 times, but of course 100 different interpretations of how they see the scene with her. So yeah, I mean, even the arts are trying to move us on in the quantum world, I think.
Well, the thing about, but everybody's interested in quantum mechanics, because quantum mechanics is too crazy for us to understand. This is what scientists are saying. And in fact, what you're saying, that the atoms and everything, we think that the atoms are some kind of pieces of stuff. Well,
Right.
they are not. They are just excitations in the quantum field.
Right.
And there are many quantum fields, at least the theory is saying that.
Yeah.
So what is there actually? Well, nobody knows.
And that's the
Nobody
best part,
knows.
right? Nobody.
Yeah.
It's like
Nobody
people go,
knows.
is there a God? I don't know. I've never met him. I mean, I see people that say they died and they met this person or they went the other place. I mean, I personally have real estate in both places just in case. But you know, Mark Twain said, he says you go to you know, heaven for the weather and you go to hell for the company, and I agree with that. But it's sort of like, so is there a God? I don't know. You'll find out when you die. My joke has always been, what's going to happen when you die? A little green alien about 3 feet tall is going to go, you were a science project. Stop bothering me. Leave me alone. But then, you know, it's like the universe is expanding and this happens. And then now with all these, you know, UFOs going on and people are like other dimensions and other this and other that. So what I'm finding is scientists only know what they know, which really isn't much apparently. And when they don't know something, then we have to come up with something else. And now the something else is different dimensions. And I'm sure there are different this, and it's like very interesting. It's like when Einstein couldn't explain something, what did he come up with? Quantum. There you go. Now we have a whole new map, and this
He had a
map
problem with
explains everything.
quantum mechanics too.
Yeah.
He had a problem with quantum mechanics
Yeah.
too. And I did an artwork about Albert Einstein too, because he's really important.
Oh, well,
Yes.
there is a God, gentlemen, and I'm now going to prove that point to you because I am the God of clicking buttons. Because
Of course you are.
If we don't get to Adam's art, Stephen, we never will today. So
there you go. This proves there's a God. You are correct. I'm sorry.
Well, I have artworks which take pieces from the stories from religion,
Right.
and I don't know many religions because I haven't studied, the Asian religions and African or other. I was born in Poland, so there is Catholicism there, Christians, Catholics, and now I live in Greece, which there are Orthodox Christians. There are some differences, but in general, I think that they're under the same. And I like those stories, I like those stories. And I was always thinking that, not always, but lately a lot, that those stories are not to be interpreted literally. Like Adam and Eve here. Like we have this show, like Adam on the Eve. So here is Adam and Eve. And by the way, my sister's name is Eve.
Yeah.
But my father's is not God. Well, he, in a way, he was acting like a god in the house, but okay. So I was thinking that those stories are metaphors. And like I said the other time, that I think that metaphors and symbolism is a universal language. It's the language that God is speaking to us. And God, I don't believe that God is a older guy with beard and like a patriarch and is judging you all the time. Do this, and if you don't do that, I'll send you to hell. I don't think that this is true.
I agree. Yeah. Well, because if you read the Old Testament, which is my people's book, because we write the best stuff, and then you go into the new book, which is you Christian people, which you have no clue. Our God is a mean, smiting God. Every book in the first book of the old, like he killed this one, you got to kill that. We knocked down a wall. We did this. We got rid of that. We have a UFO. We yada yada yada. Then all of a sudden, this little guy's born in a manger with a talking donkey. I saw the cartoon, and all of a sudden, God now is giving free hugs, and I'm like, okay, so. We got two different gods here. We've got the God that's smiting everybody and killing everybody, and he literally destroys everybody, hates you all. You're all going to be in the salt, and we're going to destroy your cities. And then we have the God who's like, hey, let's go surfing. So I think that the fables, which come from the Babylonians and probably come even before them, it's fascinating. And I think they made them up to an extent so people knew how to live. But before, I think I want to say 1000 CE, there were gods with an S. And at some point in the church, because, those nice people in the Vatican decided they should kill everybody that didn't think like they thought, they got rid of the S and it became a god. So I am more apt to believe the Greek mythology, and I'm more apt to believe Mesopotamian stories about gods, and the Indian the Indian stories of the Vairasi, the flying carpet stuff, then I'm more apt to believe. I call it the Book of Fables, because
Yeah.
it's just it's nice. I get it, but no, because it's just, it wasn't there. And so we have the Torah and all these other books. So a lot of our stuff is based on history, but a lot of the stuff that the Christians go after is based on, it's a fairy tale. And I'm like, I believe there's something, but it doesn't mean it's your something. Like, let's have an open mind about it. So I think that's where people fall short. So
Well, I'm going to play God again, guys, because if not,
okay.
we're not going to be able to see any of Adam's. I'm just going to flip through this.
But stay a little with this one, because I want to
Okay.
say something about connected to what Stephen is saying. Well, I believe I understand what you're saying. I believe that those are symbolism.
Right.
For example, here, Adam and Eve, and we know that they were in Eden, they were happy, and
Right.
suddenly something changed, and it is change actually. What I'm portraying on the work, that there was an apple. He said, "Don't eat it." They ate it. There is the snake, and something changed.
Yep.
Suddenly, a big change. And my interpretation of this is that, we have conceptual reasoning as humans about 30,000 years. Before that, we were like animals. And we were like animals for like 270,000 years. And I was reading recently that we had the apparatus and everything in our body and in our head, actually, for these 300,000 years. But only the last 30,000, maybe even less, we have the conceptual reasoning so that we can make the stories and we make concepts the way that has led us to the present day. So this is the change that I think that Christianity and this story is telling about. That this is the change. That this is the Eden that stopped to be the way it was before.
So on that point, scientists now are saying they found a superhighway in the Mexican in Central and South America from the Aztecs and the Incas. So what they're saying is they don't know now history the way they think they do. They have to relook at everything. So to your point, and Graham Hancock says we're probably, as humans, the way we are today, millions of years old, not a few 100,000, because we're finding all these new technologies that go back now, not 30,000 years, but 100 or 200 or 300,000 years, where you'd have to have a thinking man do it. So there's some catastrophe. They're thinking that whether it was a million years ago or whatever that happened, and then all of a sudden, we're back. So we have amnesia of our past, as they call it. So it's very interesting. And that's what I'm saying. So I just don't think people know. We weren't there. So like if I had a time machine, people go, do you want to go to the present or do you want to go to the future? I want to go back to day one. I want to see day one and what it was really.
Maybe there is no day one.
That's the point, right? I always say to somebody, where are we on the scale of being? At some point there was a zero. And that zero then, in theory, started it all. So where's zero? Where are we? Are we 1, 2, 3, 4?
Exactly.
So zero is it.
Where was your zero or my
Right.
zero? I don't
Correct.
remember my zero.
Right.
And where do I start? Do I start
Yep.
with my birth, or do I start with my conceived when I was
Right.
conceived? Or
But I
do
want
I
to go back
start with my
further.
exactly?
I want to go back
exactly.
to the beginning, because
to the
the
Big Bang,
scientists,
right?
they don't know if there's a Big Bang, because the string theory
Exactly.
says there's no Big Bang.
Well,
If you
string
believe
theory
it,
is outdated, I think. But
I think so. But they don't know, right? You got the Big Bang. You've got if God did this, and then you have the scientists now saying it's all wrong. We live in a matrix, and we're really in just a giant computer simulation. So in that case, my zero is Hal from the year 2001, and I think and this is what I think is fascinating.
Guys, we're going to have a Big Bang if we don't get through some of the artwork today.
Okay.
We know for all the people who are listening and they're watching on the podcast, Adam's going to be have a regular show.
Yeah, we'll be talking about those stuff.
Yeah. What we don't get through today, we'll get through at another time. But so we may not get through all the slides today, but tune in next time. Anyway, Adam, give us a little bit of background about this one.
Yeah, this one is it's also, you know, taking from the Michelangelo, you know, creation of Adam.
Right.
The left one is the hand of Adam, and we know the right one is God, right? So, and because I play also with symbols and what they say that the apple fell under the apple tree, right? So it's like father, like son.
Right.
So the red one, the red color here, it symbolizes the blood, and the blood in a way that you know, all the things that create blood, like wars, like hate, like, you know, everything that is violent. So what I'm trying to say here, that the violence, if we are, you know, sons of the God, the values we have taken from the God. So this God must be violent. It's not so much love only, it's also violent. So I'm playing with this kind of concept that we didn't invent evil. We didn't invent killing. We didn't invent. It was given to us by the religion that we are talking about, right?
Those crusaders, you gotta love them.
Oh, yeah.
But man, it's really funny. But if you think about it, man has been killing man from day one. Forgetting the Fable book where, you know, you got to smite this one and smite that one. But literally, it's everything's a land acquisition game. I want more land. I want your women. I want your this. I want your everything is like I want. And how do we get it? You don't work. You just kill people for it.
Yeah.
So it's like since day one, that's all we do. Oh, this hits home for me, a big dollar sign.
Yeah, it looks like this one was painted especially for you, Steve. It has your initial as well.
I see my initial is there, and it was a dollar sign. This is beautiful. This is it. This is my painting. There is a God. There you go. So
well, this is also symbolic. I don't want to criticize anybody belief.
Right.
That's
my job.
Yes, I support, and I will always fight for the freedom for everybody to believe what they want to believe.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not making fun or doing anything with this kind of work. I am just trying to say here that the institution and how the things turned are drifting away from the scripts.
Yep.
And somewhere in the story, somewhere in the history, something has been lost. And I remember that I don't know much about Christianity also in the scripts, but I remember that Jesus was furious outside of the temple, and bringing everything down and saying that you have made money your God, and it was outside the temple. And I remember when I was a kid in Polish churches, during the liturgy in the church, at some point there was like a small priest with a basket, and he was asking for money. You know, if anybody wanted to put something, and the money showed up inside the house of God. So I think that if which I don't know, if Jesus existed and came suddenly here, he would be furious at everybody.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's the money lenders, of course, who are outside the church that he was furious about. And now they're all inside the church, because if you don't have cash, which we went to a funeral recently, luckily not my own, so if you didn't have any money, the guy said, oh, you can just swipe with your card.
Yeah, but see, I never understood. My religion, by the way, we know how to make money, because when there's the holy high days like Passover or Yom Kippur, you have to buy tickets. Like to get in, you got to buy a ticket. And the more you spend, the closer you get to sit to the wall, the whole thing. But what I never understood is if God's everywhere, why do I need to go into a building or in the Catholic religion, a phone booth, confess to a guy with a dog collar my sins, when I should just be able to talk to God directly, right? Because they don't have any more special power than I do. And then you got the guy at the Vatican with the cute hat and funny shoes. And once again, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, why do I need you when I should just be able to pray to God because he's everywhere? So I think religion's a scam. And that's my religion too, to an extent. So
I think the answer to that question is in this piece of art we're now looking at, Steve.
No kidding. That's my point. It's like, hey, it's like the old joke, the Catholic priest, they take money, they and they, they give and they do. And the rabbi says, here's how we give money to God. He says, we collect the money and we throw it in the air. He goes, whatever God wants, he takes. Whatever he doesn't want, we keep. So, it's the same type of mentality, I think. And it's interesting that, that people, when you talk about religion, most people, it's money. When you talk about the Catholic Church, which is $1 billion company in their little private country, it's all about money, all about money. Give 10%, give that. But in return, none of these religions ever give back. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure different parishes do and temples do. For the most part, it's for, look at our pretty temple. Look at this. It's not like, let's go feed the hungry. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Like, let's help people. It's more of like, look what we have. So to me, it's a big scam.
I'm going to help the people now because we're going to move on to the next slide.
Well, so Steve, I think you are. I understand you, but you are generalizing too much. I think
Right.
because they have helped. There are
right.
priests which really believe,
Right.
and they have sacrificed their lives into.
Oh no, and I agree with that. So I said,
but
different
I know your
parishes.
point, and
Right.
you are, you are frustrated.
Yeah. It's not even that. It's just why I said,
you're right to be.
Yeah, it's not that I'm frustrated. It's more of I know, and as I said, it's a big general statement, but I know there's certain priests and certain rabbis and nuns, or we like to call penguins, have done things. And I'm not saying all, but for the most part, if I had to say on a scale of 100%, 10% of religious institutions, people, whoever's associated with it, I think, yes, they have done a lot. The other 90% is look at me, look at me, look at me. And that's the part that I'm like, you don't need to go to a building. You should be able to pray to God. You're like, because if you go and ask for help now, I don't know, do they help you? I have no idea. Back in the day, you're right, they did. You had people to sacrifice and do and preach and whatever. And now I don't know if they do that anymore.
So what happened, do you think? What happened, do you think?
What happened here with the art? Is she looking for help or retribution?
She is looking for help, but the help is kind of tied up, and it's like inevitable to take her. Or this is a work that I don't even understand so well, because remember I told you last time.
Point, ladies and gentlemen.
So everybody can give its own interpretation, but you remember last time I told you that I don't even understand my work fully. Sometimes I don't understand them at all. Of course, I need to find a meaning into it, because otherwise I will not get it out, because it's not me somewhere. I need to find me somewhere in those works. So a lot of things happening down on the outer, but there is, she is praying and she's trying for help, but is this help? It might be, but it might not be. It might be a prison. It might be, it's tied. I don't know.
It's a beautiful piece. I think it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
My smart ass comment is this looks like a piece you'd see at Hilge's House of Pain. But I mean, at the end of the day, though, this is just a beautiful, striking piece. Whether you have a religious tone to it, or whether you just have like the weight of the world tone to it. So you can go either way with this one. It's absolutely beautiful.
The title of it, it's a ritual to what is left. And I don't even know why I gave this title. It's a strange piece for me, but I wanted to show it because it is about what we are talking about today, and it is also what I said.
But she's also, Adam. She's also not complete, because she looks like she's been pulled out of something.
Yes, but in most of my works, and I don't know if I have the time to show the last one I told you, because it's the newest one. I finished it yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we can go straight to that if you'd rather, but that's not a problem.
Because you said that it's not complete, but in most of my works, the bodies are not complete.
No, what I meant is
it looks like she's cut off, is what he's saying. Like she was pulled from something and she's missing her lower torso.
She looks like she's immersed in something.
Yes, she's immersed, but the rope is, it's helping. This is my interpretation of it. It's helping her to get out of it. So in this way, the the beyond, from the heavens. The help is a help, really a help.
Right.
So she is helping. So it's tired, it's taking her out of it, and in a way, it's also making her pray. So in a way, the force from up there is making her pray. So I try to. I don't know actually. I try
No,
to
I think that's a great
connect everything
explanation.
together.
The fact that she has been pulled out of a situation,
Yeah.
and is almost forced to pray, or has prayed to be taken out of the circumstances. Interesting.
And there are hands there down here. You can see other hands, not her.
Yep, on the
There's
bottom.
one
Yeah.
hand. So there are other there. I don't know if they are going to be taken out.
It's a striking
Wow.
piece. It really, like, you could sit and look at this for hours and you would not get tired of it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Well,
And this
now,
is
now where are we on this? Because I couldn't work it out. I looked at it about 3 or 4 times, and I thought, maybe I know what it's about. But then again,
well,
maybe I don't.
this one is called the waiting hands, and it's
Yeah.
kind of connected to the other one, the previous one, because everything is connected. Not only because there are hands, but hands is a symbol that I use a lot, and the waiting hands are waiting for help.
Oh, wow.
And this is also, sometimes I take inspiration from individual happenings, and sometimes it's very vague and I don't understand it. There's water. And I live in Greece, and for many years we had immigration problems and people dying because we have a lot of sea, the Aegean Sea, and from Turkey they travel to Greece, and many of them have been found dead because the boats are not good. There are too many people in the boats, etc., etc. This is one of the how to say parallel interpretation of it, because I speak generally that there are people who are waiting for something, and they're waiting for help, I think. And
Yeah. But
there are
is
so
that
many
because
of them.
were you when you designed this more of in a sort of a negative thought? Because the first thing when I saw it this morning, very very quickly, it looked like people were expressing joy.
Oh, you see, that's the beauty of art.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of art. No, for me there wasn't much joy, because it's the waiting hands. It's
Right.
what they're waiting for, and they're inside
Yeah.
the water. You see no heads; they're just
And see,
Yeah.
hands.
and
It's
so you
not
can
a
look at this.
party.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. You can look at
But
this
it's
either way.
interesting. It's interesting that you saw it this way. I would like to hear a little about
Yeah. Well,
what made you.
I find, well, because I find your art very thought provoking, as does Steve, and as well, which is why we're thrilled to have you on regularly to look and talk all this stuff. Because it's it's
But
potato.
I like that you saw it this way.
We lost David.
We lost David.
His gerbil didn't make it. he'll be back. This little gerbil just died on him. So every now and then, because in Belgium or Netherlands, wherever he is, you just lose it. But no, that piece of art was absolutely gorgeous. So
In general, I think you like my work, but
we love your work.
I'm
That's
really
why we
happy.
have you. But we like, it's not just your work. Hey, David, welcome back.
He's here.
It's not just your work, but you, because the way you think through things is not that it's different, but it's refreshing. So for the audience to hear that, and this way when they see your artwork and they purchase it, it's more of a meaning behind it, right? It's like, I purchased something from Adam, and it's like, but I've also listened to like 50 hours of him being on Two Old Farts, Adam on the Eve thing, and it's sort of like, I get it. And then when they buy it, now they have a bigger and better understanding of it, not just the artwork, but the artist. And I think that's a whole nother thing.
But I really like that David said that I see something different.
Yes.
I really like it. And when whoever here listens to this, if you have something, an interpretation, just write to me. I am in all kind of social media. Write to me your
Yeah.
interpretation. I really like to hear your thinking about it. And I tell you, it's not wrong, David. It's not wrong what you thought.
Yeah. Well,
Well, the other
we
thing
Maybe
is-
encourage
it's not
people
what I
to.
had in mind, but
Yeah.
it's really interesting. I really like to see my work from a different kind of perspective. That's
Yeah.
why we are in general in life. I think that to exchange perspective, because otherwise, now coming back to the talking we had about God,
Right.
I believe that God is everywhere, but
Yes.
He is not the God that we have thought and we've been told so long.
I agree.
He's
I agree
everywhere
with that. Yeah.
because
Well-
look, guys, look at the screen. All these things happen by luck, by randomness, everything. I mean, there is entropy, and it's going to everything is going from an organized state into randomness. This is entropy in very simple words. But look at what we are doing. Life is against entropy. It's fighting entropy, and it's fighting it quite well. And we here are a proof of that.
Right.
We are
agree.
fighting.
Well, I'm
entropy
certainly
and
certainly
destruction.
proof of the fact that the Wi-Fi keeps crapping on me today, but that's another story. I've got the very last one, which we're obviously we're going to go through and show the other bits again because we're going to run out of time. But I know you wanted to share this one with us.
Oh,
Yeah,
gorgeous.
this is the last
Absolutely
one.
gorgeous.
Yesterday's artwork. You see something very fresh. I haven't posted. I will post it after we finish.
Very
So
cool.
Yeah.
I posted it on Twitter because on Twitter I posted earlier anyway, but I haven't posted it on Instagram and said
So a little bit of background in this. Why the yellow? Why was my first thing.
Why the yellow?
Why? Yeah, is the yellow particularly important?
You know, the yellow for everybody is something different and general in colors, but yellow for me is a very dynamic color. I like yellow. I like all the colors, but yellow is very, very dynamic. I don't know. It brings me motion, kind of feeling of motion, and there is motion here. It's called this one is called higher impetus, and it's about change. It's about moving along, leaving things behind. Like there are two figures.
It looks like they're carrying a cross.
Well, you see, you're telling me things that I don't. It's very fresh, It's so I haven't been an audience to this artwork for long, but now that you're saying yes, you see, it's connected to what we are talking about today.
Yeah.
Everything is connected. That's what we started
It
with.
is. It is.
That's awesome. And we're going to end with everything is connected too. It's awesome.
It is, and we are all connected.
Yes, we are.
And everything is connected.
It is very cool. Well, Adam, unfortunately, it's the end of this show, but Adam will be back at the beginning of April for another show. He does a show once a month with us and with some more amazing artwork. We will put this out as a podcast. So if you're listening to it as a podcast, you're missing lots. So go to YouTube to Two Old Farts Making Noises if you actually want to see the beautiful work. The links are also on the bottom of the podcast. Subscribe and like. And to Adam's point, you can also leave your comments here, and we can answer them here or send them to Adam, and he can answer your comments here on our YouTube channel. And that's it. Adam, it's always a pleasure, my friend. It's always mind opening. I love it.
Thank you
so much.
It's a pleasure
Mr.
for me.
David? Oh.